Okay. All right. Have fun.
Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to Design Your Own Packaging, which is a workshop, as you know, with MOO, Adobe Express, and me, Kitiya Palaskas. It's a real thrill to be here with you this evening or this morning or this afternoon, depending on where you are tuning in from. I'm tuning in from my home in Melbourne. Some of you I already know that are on this call already, and some of you I have yet to get to know. So I thought maybe we could start off by introducing ourselves in the chat so we can all get to know each other a little bit better. So how about introduce yourselves in the chat if you'd like, share your social media handle, and if you do make products that you are selling, let us know what you make, because it'd be really great to find out what everybody's here for. So I just wanted to show you, do a quick show and tell to start off with, because I love a show and tell, of some of the products that I have designed using Adobe Express and also printed with MOO, just to give you an idea of what you could do for yourself and what I'm going to be kind of talking about and showing you today. So let's start off with these awesome postcards. They're thick luxe postcards from MOO, and they have, I don't know if you can see it there, but they've got like a neon pink binding. Very awesome. I use these in all my packages that I send out to people, and I also have a thinner regular postcard version that has a different message on the back depending on what I want to use them for. So if I'm meeting someone for the first time, or if they're a brand new customer, I'll use the nice to meet yous, and then if it's just a return customer, then I'll use the thank yous. I also have these little sticker books, which I am absolutely obsessed with. They have 6 different stickers that I designed, and I use them as freebies in my packages to my customers. And then I've got a few more stickers. These I use for branding all of my packages before I send them in the post to my customers. So I just wanted to show you quickly the kinds of things that you can create. And so now that you've seen what you can create, I'm going to show you how you can achieve similar results for yourself. So I'm going to share my screen. Now, let me know at any time if you can't see the screen properly, or you can't hear me properly, and I will yell. I'll just open the chat so I can see if you can't hear or see me. Okay, let's get going. So this is Design Your Own Packaging. I wanted to briefly introduce myself. As you know, I'm Kitiya Palaskas. I am a craft-based designer. I'm also an Adobe Express ambassador, and I'm the founder of Kitiya Palaskas Studio. So we are a creative design studio here in Melbourne, Australia. So for the past 12 years, we've been working with brands all over the world, and we specialize in producing props, installations, illustrations, DIY content creation, and creative workshops, all using craft-based techniques. And we basically just celebrate handmade in everything that we do. So my first ever experience with selling products was in high school. Me and my best friend had this thriving handmade business. We used to sell our handmade creations at fetes and at our school carnivals. We made things like beaded necklaces, friendship bracelets, painted light bulbs, printed t-shirts. We made a killing. Like, we were very entrepreneurial for teenagers, honestly. And I think it kind of started me off on my obsession with creating and selling my own products. And then I actually started my career that I have now with my own handmade clothing and accessories label, which I launched online in the first year of Etsy, so in 2006. And since then, I've sold literally so many different kinds of products alongside running my design studio. I've sold accessories, stationery, home decor, jewelry, clothing, digital products, ebooks, courses, craft templates, you name it. I've probably dabbled in literally everything. So I've learned a lot about making and selling my own products over the years. And so I'm really looking forward to sharing some of that knowledge with you in this session, particularly around designing your own packaging. So before we start talking about designing our own packaging, we really have to talk about selling, and in particular about creating a memorable experience for our customers. So a positive and memorable customer experience can cultivate enthusiasm and support for your business. It can create brand loyalty, and it can keep your customers coming back for more. And repeat customers are really where it's at when it comes to selling your own products. You want to be, capturing them and then keeping them coming back and being excited about everything new that you have to offer. Conversely, a negative customer experience can really be that defining line between a repeat customer and someone that just buys once and then never purchases again. So we basically are always out here trying to create excellent customer experiences for people that want to shop from us. So what makes a really fantastic and memorable customer experience? So here's a few things to consider that I'd like to suggest to you. To start off with, obviously, a great product, a high quality product with a great brand story. So I always think about when I'm designing products like, okay, I want them to have longevity. I want them to have value for money. I want them to be unique and eye-catching, that something perhaps that is a unique voice that hasn't really been seen before. And I really want to share my authentic brand story and my brand purpose with people through my products. And I always ask myself, does my product solve a problem of some kind for my customer? Because that's always a really great place to start when you're thinking about what on earth can I make out of all the many things there are to make in this world. Okay, we also want to consider if our products and our brand align with our customer values. So basically, customers just want to feel good about their purchasing choices. For example, sustainability is becoming a lot more of a strong focus these days for consumers. 86% of consumers in Australia that have been surveyed have said that they shop with sustainability in mind. So we really need to be looking at what drives customers to buy and if our brand aligns with those reasons and those values. A loyal customer is one that really aligns their values with yours, and it's kind of like making a new friend. You want to have the same interests, so that's something to consider. Getting down to the nitty-gritty, it's really important to have all the details about your product provided on your product page if you're selling online. Are you sharing all the info that they might want to know in a way that's really easy for them to find? Having absolutely everything spelled out in your online shop pages or in your visual merchandising displays, if you are a brick and mortar store, makes the decision to buy super easy because you're answering all of a customer's questions before they even ask you. All right, now let's talk about efficient order fulfillment. So pandemic delays aside, online shopping is completely second nature to all of us at this point in the world. And so customers expect to receive their parcels on time with tracking info. It's just standard practice now. And so even as a small one-person business, you can still manage your customers' expectations. Even if you only pack orders once or twice a week, for example, if you are sharing this and managing their expectations and communicating what your order fulfillment systems are like, then they're not going to be disappointed. They're going to know what to expect. All right, customer service is another thing to consider in a great customer experience. We really want to be covering ourselves and providing like all the nitty-gritty details that customers need to know in an easy to find place. You can get legal templates from all sorts of places these days that you can adapt to your own shop or your own brand or products just to cover yourself for different things. And you can even on some online selling platforms use templates that they offer and customize those. Also, help is easy to access when it's needed. So good customer service is everything, enough said. Other things to consider, my favorite part of it, a delightful and memorable unboxing experience. So this is what we're going to be focusing on in this session today. I have a little story for you. Back when I had my Etsy shop in 2006, a young, not super famous yet, Katy Perry bought some products from me. She just released her first single, and I didn't even really know it was her because she had like a different name. And then a friend of mine who had sold things to her before told me that it was her. And she left me a comment in my feedback that said, "You made me feel like it was my birthday when I opened my parcel." And I just absolutely was so thrilled to receive feedback like that. And so I try to uphold this sentiment every time I package an order. So we want to be creating something that's absolutely delightful for the customer to open. And finally, Do we have call to actions, follow-ups, and rewards to keep our customers coming back? So it's great if a customer buys something, but in order to keep them coming back, we need to retain them somehow. So for example, a good call to action might be creating a sticker that says, if you love your products, don't forget to share your unboxing on Instagram and tag us. Things like that. You want to be encouraging them and giving them little things that they can do to stay in touch with you, to share your stuff out into the world, and to keep coming back. Okay, so now that we've talked about what to consider in a good customer experience, I want to just briefly touch on this thing called the buyer cycle. So if you haven't heard of the buyer cycle before, it's a process that consumers go through from before they make a decision to purchase all the way through until after the purchase is complete. And for retailers like us, this can be used to help us market and sell to consumers by knowing what to market to them and when we should do that. And it's also a really great planning tool to use when you're thinking about how to retain customers and keep them coming back. So there's a few different phases in the buyer cycle. I'm going to cycle through them real quickly. So we start off with the awareness phase. And this is the point where your customer first discovers your brand. And for a lot of us, that happens through social media, perhaps word of mouth, perhaps seeing something in an ad or in a shop. Then there's the research phase, which is when your customer is getting interested in your product and so starts to explore your brand. This is where it's really important to be able to communicate your brand story to them. They want to know whether their values align with yours, and they want to know what products of yours can help them with the problem that they're looking to solve. Then we have the comparison phase. So they're getting closer to wanting to buy from you now, but they want to see if there's any other products out there that might be better than yours that they can perhaps buy first. Perhaps it's better value, perhaps it's better quality. Think back to all the times that you've decided to buy something, and maybe you'll catch some of the buyer cycle in your purchasing decisions too. So then we have the purchase phase, obviously an amazing phase because they're purchasing from you. And a lot of sellers actually focus most strongly on this phase, but I argue that all phases are equally as important. And then finally, we have the retention phase, and this one is often forgotten about completely. This is your chance to nurture that new customer and keep them coming back for more. So now let's talk about how your packaging specifically can help you influence your customers at every phase of the buying cycle. So in the awareness phase, perhaps you have some eye-catching packaging that is in a stockist that's stocking your products or on social media. And you've got some cohesive branding that really stands out from the crowd, and it's really capturing the attention of a potential customer. And next we have the research phase. So a customer might see some user-generated content on social media. So that's where maybe someone else has tagged you and your brand in an Instagram post, for example, or in some unboxing pictures and videos. This kind of stuff really legitimizes you in a customer's eyes when they're doing that research about, is your brand legit or not? And then in the comparison phase, well, perhaps they're looking for packaging that really stands out from the crowd, and they want to know through perhaps things like user-generated content, whether your experience of unboxing, whether your products are more VIP than others. And then the purchase phase, customers look forward not only to your product, but also to the whole unboxing experience. So they get really excited because they've done all that research and they know that when they get your parcel in the mail, it's going to be absolutely incredible. And then in the retention phase, your customer can be encouraged to shop again through call to actions that you share on your packaging collateral or your assets, and also perhaps a personal message in the packaging itself that encourages them to shop again. So that's just a little glimpse at the buyer cycle, which is very important to consider when you are planning what products you want to sell and how it can relate to, or how packaging can relate to the buyer cycle. So let's move on. What kind of packaging should we be including in our parcels and with our products? So there's a lot to consider when it comes to packaging. And if you're just getting started and this is new to you, please don't feel overwhelmed. I'm about to take you through a variety of different packaging options and what they can be used for. And I really recommend that you spend some time mapping out all the packaging that you might need to sell and post your products and make them a reality. And create a checklist for yourself, perhaps, that you can use as a guide every time you are designing all your packaging assets. So good packaging is an investment, but you can't put a price on customer loyalty. So in my eyes, I consider this an investment that is very important. And the more that you sell, the faster you're going to cover all your costs when it comes to packaging and everything like that. So I never skimp on my packaging collateral, because it's really what, apart from your product, of course, what makes the whole experience very special for your customers. And also, I just wanted to note, make sure that when you are pricing your products, that you can incorporate the cost of your packaging into the costing of your product and its final retail price, because a lot of us tend to skip that part or not cover that part, but it's really important because it is a cost at the end of the day. So before we go into this, I just wanted to check if everyone's all good. It looks like in the chat that no one's feeling lost at the moment. If you have any questions relating to the buyer cycle or anything I just talked about, please let me know. Also, I tend to talk really fast. And I've packed this session in with lots of information for you. So if I am going too fast for you, please yell out and let me know. All right, let's talk about all the different kinds of packaging that we can use for our products. Okay, so first off, we start with mailing boxes and satchels. Now, I'm going to start from the outside and work our way in when it comes to all the different packaging that we need. So, mailing boxes and satchels. These are the things that are going to carry your product and all of the stuff inside from your place of work to the customer's door. So you want to make sure that these things are durable, and they come in lots of different sizes, obviously, and different sized parcels have different postage costs, as you know. So keep that in mind when you are choosing what kind of packaging to use as your mailing boxes and satchels, because it's better to try and be efficient where you can fit lots of things into one box so that you don't have to kind of like send multiple parcels, or perhaps send things in a box that's too big so that it costs more for the customer to pay for. So within the category of mailing boxes and satchels, we've got obviously the mailing boxes. You can purchase these in bulk online or from wherever, and they come in different sizes and colors, or you can invest in getting them custom printed. Likewise, with mailing satchels, they can be padded, they can be flexible. Lots of companies also make biodegradable ones now. So harking back to that little data that I gave you before about 86% of people who consider sustainability in their purchases, having packaging that doesn't add to landfill is a really important thing to consider these days. So I encourage you to have a look around and see what's available out there in terms of sustainable packaging options. Then, of course, there's mailing tubes. These are perfect for sending things like prints, and you can customize them with awesome stickers. And then envelopes, these can be rigid or flexible. These are great for flat prints if you get large sized ones, or smaller flat items like stickers. And also the benefit to sending things in envelopes, if you can, is that the postage is obviously cheaper. I don't know about you, but postage has gone up a lot in the last couple of years. So yeah, I'm always trying to keep an eye out for ways that I can like reduce my postage costs for my customers. So that's mailing boxes and satchels. There's some examples there of a couple of kinds that I have made and personalized myself over the years. Now let's talk about product packaging. So this is the sort of like inner packaging that's gonna not need to be as durable, because it doesn't need to be outer facing in the mail, but it does need to be special and beautiful because it's what your actual product is housed within. So we've got things like gift boxes. Again, you can purchase these in bulk. You can get them custom printed. We've got gift bags. There's endless options available, and you can personalize them with branded stickers. And we've got cellophane sleeves, which are great for small products, jewelry, accessories, that kind of thing. You can also get biodegradable cellophane bags now, so that you don't add plastic to landfill if that's something that you feel strongly about. So that's product packaging. Gift wrapping. So maybe instead of product packaging like bags or boxes, you might want to wrap and create some custom gift wrap to wrap your products inside the boxes. So we've got gift wrap, which you can just purchase, or you can invest in custom printed gift wrap. We've got tissue paper, which you can purchase or custom print. DIY wrap. So if you're just starting out and you are prioritizing perhaps business cards, postcards, stickers as your custom printed collateral, perhaps you might make your own gift wrap. So you could do that by painting, stenciling, spraying, or stamping plain butcher's paper. There's an example in the picture here of some that I've created. It's actually one of my favorite things to do, creating my own wrapping paper. So if you want to give that a go, it's fun. Also, there's fabric wrap, which is a beautiful reusable option. People can regift it and can use it again and again. I'm totally all for regifting. I try to make my packaging so beautiful that people want to like wrap other things up in it and give it to someone else so that it lives forever. All right, now we have tags and cards. So things like swing tags, which are great for garments or accessories. They can contain all the product and care info for your product, but also be an extra branding opportunity. You can put your logo on them and that kind of thing. Backing cards. So these are really easy to custom print. You can actually design and create postcards that you can then use as backing cards, which is what I've done here in the example picture. And make them really fun and eye-catching so people want to, you know, maybe cut them up, use them for collage, use them again. And then labels, which can be sewn or stuck onto your garments or your products. Stickers. So here's some of my MOO and Adobe Express designs in this picture. I absolutely am obsessed with stickers. So we've got things like logo labels. So you can decorate your mailing boxes. You can brand the outside of your packages. You can seal inner product boxes and bags. You can really do a lot with a logo label. Decorative stickers, which can add flair to plain mailing boxes and satchels, and they can also seal all your stuff inside. Branded freebies, like I showed you at the start of this session. So fun extras that you can add to your packages, and they can be branded for that extra marketing opportunity. And also informative stickers. So you'll see a few little digital designs here in the picture. These include calls to action for your customers, and you can stick them all over the inside of your box. So perhaps on the inside of the lid. So when people open it up, they get your call to action, which is what I do. So this social media sticker here that says tag us on social media. Do you love your stuff? Tag us on social media with our Instagram. We put that on the inner little flap as you open up the box so that it's the first thing that people see. And then on the bottom of the box, we always put a please recycle me sticker just to encourage people to recycle the packaging afterwards. So this is a quote from a friend of mine who I was speaking to once a few years ago about product packaging. And she said, make your packaging so beautiful that your customers want to hang it on their wall. And I think that that really is important to remember. And I always try and think about that when I'm creating packaging. I love to reuse things, and I really want my customers to be able to ideally stick something like my postcard, for example, up on their wall, because it's so beautiful. But a strategic reason for doing that is so that every time they look at their mood board or their wall by their office or wherever it is that they've stuck my postcard, I'll immediately, and me and my brand will immediately come to mind. And that perhaps will trigger them going, oh, I wonder what she's been up to. What new products is she selling? I'm going to go and have a look on her website and perhaps purchase. So keep that in mind when you are designing your packaging. All right, so let's talk about what makes an awesome unboxing experience for a customer. So you want to be making sure that when you're designing your packaging that you're keeping these things in mind. So let's have a look at them. What to consider. So I always like to try and make my customers feel like they are like VIPs every single time they get a parcel from me. But the first and probably the most simple thing to remember is to create something that arrives on time with no damage. So I'm sure we've all encountered this scenario before. Have you ever ordered a pizza for delivery and the pizza gets to your house and you open up the box and the entire pizza, first of all, the topping has slid off the entire pizza and is smushed up on the side of the box, leaving just this bare crumpled up pizza on the other side of the box. And you're just sitting there because you're starving. All you wanted to do was just sit down in front of the TV and eat your pizza. And you're just sitting there with this open box of this destroyed pizza, just looking at it. Have you ever, do you relate to the feeling of absolute disappointment when you open that box? Well, if you do, keep that in mind, because this is something that we never want our customers to feel when they open our beautiful packaging and our boxes. So always make sure that you have taken into account how rough things can be in transit. All right, another thing to consider is that your packaging is immediately recognizable as your brand. So when they open their mailbox and they see all your beautiful branded stickers on the outside of the mailer, they know instantly that it's from you, and they get so excited that they just leave all the other mail in the mailbox and run back inside to open your parcel. That's kind of what we're going for here. When you open the box, you are greeted with something visually stimulating and delightful. And that's what the whole unboxing experience is about. And that's what we're going to be talking about in a minute when I show you how to design some awesome packaging assets of your own. Your order is personalized in some way. Now, I think this is really, really important, and it doesn't really need to take heaps of time. So it doesn't need to add to your order fulfillment process and make it really time consuming and annoying. All you really need to do is just say, thanks, Kit, or something like that. Maybe include in your promotional postcards a little space to write a personal message. It literally can just be thanks, Kit, or whatever the name is. It doesn't have to be anything like an essay, or it can be if you want and you have time. But I think just that little touch of personalization can go a really long way for the customer experience. And there's a little freebie or extra. Now, this one isn't necessarily essential, but I always like to include something a little extra just to give them that VIP experience. So I usually include like a couple of pieces of wrapped candy. And then, like I showed you at the start, I have little freebie stickers that I printed from MOO that each customer gets a little sheet of these freebie stickers. And they're all branded like with my designs. So it's just something fun and extra that, I don't know, gives them something like an extra added surprise to look forward to. And then once again, a clear path is provided for feedback and calls to action. And you can do that through stickers like we just talked about before. Okay. So now we're going to get into a more practical component of this workshop, how to design the packaging collateral with Adobe Express and MOO. So I am going to jump into Adobe Express to start off with, give you a little quick tour, and then show you how I've created some designs that I'm going to use to then print postcards with using MOO. So I'm just going to jump out of this screen, and we're going to share another screen. If there's any questions about anything that I just talked about up until this point, please pop them in the chat while I am resharing my screen. Okay, here we go. How's that looking to everyone? Can everybody see that? I hope so. Okay, so here we are in the Adobe Express dashboard. Now, Adobe Express is a design app, as Francisco mentioned before. You can access it on the web, which I'm doing here, but you can also access it on your tablet or your phone. I love using it on the web just because, for me, all of my files, all my graphic files, all my photos and that kind of thing are located on my computer, and it's just easier for me. But if you're the kind of person that loves designing and using your phone, you can just as easily use the phone app as well. It just depends on I guess, like the way that you like to work. So just to give you a quick tour of the dashboard, you start off with a whole bunch of different inspirational projects that you can kind of get started with. A great thing about Adobe Express is that you don't need to be a designer at all to use this. So you can have absolutely not one shred of design experience and still create beautiful branded assets for all of your product packaging. And you do that a lot through, I guess, all these tools I'm about to show you, but also a whole bunch of templates that Adobe Express has that you can design from. And that's what we're going to be using today. So moving down, there's a whole bunch of quick actions here. These are just really, really simple, direct ways to do quick edits on images and videos. And then we have all the awesome templates. There's literally thousands and thousands of templates. I wish I had a whole day to just show and tell with you all of my favorite templates, but you'll find a lot of them here, and you'll see that they're for all sorts of different things. So there's posters, there's logos, there's social media posts, there's printable assets like postcards and all that kind of thing. And then flyers, collages, as you can see, there's heaps and heaps of stuff. I have noticed in the chat that there is a 30-day free trial that you can get with Adobe Express if you want to try it out, but also you can use the free version too. I just wanted to let you know, there's heaps and heaps of functionality in both the free and the subscription version. So just letting you know that. On the left-hand side here, there's an area here where you can see all the different projects that you've created. There's an area here called libraries, which is where you can store all your finished assets and templates that you design for yourself. It's really, and you can access a lot of them across other Adobe products as well, which is really handy. And also your team can access them if you have a team working with you to create stuff. They can all access and work on the same files together. And then this brand section here, which is where you upload all of your brand assets. I'm going to show you that in a second. But first, I just wanted to take you into libraries. So this is my packaging library that I use to create and store all of my assets that I printed with MOO for this workshop. So we have all my stickers, we've got my postcards, and we've got the postcard backing template. Now I've created templates for all of these, so they're a lot easier for me to recreate from as time goes on. And I'm going to show you how to do that in a minute, but I just wanted to kind of show you some of the designs that I've made so far. And we're going to be delving into some of these in a minute. So that's that. Now let's hop into the brand section. So this is an area within Adobe Express, like I said, where you can upload all of your brand assets. So you can upload all your logos. So as you can see, I've uploaded all of my logos, but also my logo icons and anything else relating to, I guess, like the major part of my branding. You can upload all your brand colors. So I've got quite a lot of different brand colors and brand tones, and you can put them all in here using HTML hex codes. You can also, if you have special brand fonts, you can upload your fonts, and you can really personalize how this branding is displayed within your projects in Adobe Express. So I really love that. Okay, so what we're going to do as a demo is I'm going to create packaging for assuming that I have like no prior design experience. So we're going to be using a template to do this. So I think this is like a really great way to get started using Adobe Express if you haven't used it before. So at the top here, we're going to search for specific template. Let's see if I can find it again. I found it in the collage section. So let's jump in. Okay, so you can obviously search by type of asset you want. I want to create a postcard, but I don't necessarily need to search for a postcard template because I can resize any design template to fit the size of my asset. So I've just found a really cool one in collages. So I'm going to try and find it again, and we're going to work with it again. Let's scroll down. I bet you, like, this is just what always happens to me, but I bet you I will not be able to find it again because that is just something that always happens to me. But as you can see, there are just loads and loads of, gosh, just so many incredible templates to work with. And like someone else that's a really awesome designer has already designed these all for us so that we don't have to do it ourselves. Okay, let's see. I think I'm getting close to where it is. Ooh, actually, let's see if I can find it like this. Oh, there it is. Okay. So when you find the template that you want to work from, all you have to do is click Start From, and it opens it up in a new version for you in your artboard. So this, I call it an artboard. This is where you're going to do all your edits, where you're going to add photos, where you're going to add different icons, different colors, all that kind of thing. This is where the creativity really happens. So the first thing we obviously want to do, we can see that this is not the same size as a postcard. So we want to be making an A6 postcard. Now, you might remember from the workshop registration page that the MOO team has really kindly included this guide, this size guide for a few of the more common assets that you can use. So we're going to go with this size here, which is a standard postcard. And also it says to add 2 millimeters of bleed just for safety. So if you don't know what bleed is, it's just the extra space around the edge of your artwork that could perhaps, depending on how the thing is cut off important information. So we want to make sure that it's like the bleed is always just a plain background so that as it's cropping in, it doesn't cut off any of that important info for you. So we're going to resize our image to 107 by 150 millimeters, just to be on the safe side. So let's jump back in. Where am I? There we go. So to resize, along the right-hand side here, we just click resize, and then we can enter our custom size. So what did I say it was? I said it was 107 by 150 millimeters. Is that it? And then it's just resized it for us. Oops, I think I did that wrong. Oops, I did that completely wrong. 107 by 150. There we go. There we go. Okay, so now we are at the postcard size, which is great. So the first thing we want to do is, I think I want to change this background color. So we go over here, we select it, we go over here, and we can choose a color. And it's awesome because it brings up your brand colors straight away. So I'm going to change the background to my pink brand color, which is cool. Okay, so now I'm thinking, all right, well, this text doesn't really apply to my brand, so I'm going to change it to something else. First, we need to ungroup everything because it's all grouped together. I'm going to select my text. I'm going to just write what I want. I think it's going to say dream big. Okay, if we want to change the way that the text looks, there's so many different editing functionalities here to change that with, but today I'm just going to change the text color. I think I like blue or maybe orange. And then I'm going to change the font to one of my brand fonts, which I have uploaded in the branding section, which I showed you before. So we can just really make sure that we're keeping this like totally on brand. And then you can just drag everything where you want it to go. So now I think that I don't want to have this lovely lady in here because it doesn't really relate to my brand. For me, I think I want this postcard to be something really beautiful and graphic, like a print that people can then stick on their pin board or their wall afterwards. So I think we're going to just get rid of her. So we're just going to press the delete button. And she's gone. So now I want to add something else in there. So along this left-hand side are a whole bunch of different places to find different design assets. So you can add photos of your own if you want, and you can remove the backgrounds if you want to cut them out, like we saw with that lady just then. You can also add backgrounds if you wish. You can add design assets. I'm going to show you that in a sec. But today I'm going to be going into the shape section. So this is a whole bunch of amazing license-free, or I guess like universal license icons that you can use in your designs. So I think I want to choose, I want to search for a flower. So I'm going to type in flower. And as you can see, there's just so many different kinds of flowers that you can choose from. You don't need to know how to create this motif from scratch yourself. You can just choose one, click on it, and it will just insert it straight into your design, which is awesome. So now that I've got this flower, I think I want to change the color. You can adapt the color. You can adjust the size. If you want, you can create something that's a little bit see-through, which is cool. But I think we're going to keep it normal for now. You can change the layering of where each design element is in relation to each other by just dragging it underneath things. So I think I want it to go in the background. I'm going to drag it underneath. So cool. Love that. All right. So we've got a little flower in here. Actually, perhaps I'll move it up a little bit. Awesome. Okay, so we have a flower. What do I want to do now? I think I want to perhaps replace these waves. These waves don't really speak to me in terms of my brand, but I love the idea of the waves. So I think I'm going to jump back into the shape section and see if there's any fun wave icons that I can use in my design. As you can see, there's heaps. There's one right here that I love, which is kind of like a bit more abstract and handwritten. So I think that's going to suit the DIY vibe of my brand. So I'm going to click on it and I'm going to change the colors once again, perhaps to my brand green. And get rid of this one, drag it down. And I really liked that multiply effect that I showed you before. So I think I'm going to do that again. I think that looks really cool. I love a bit of layering. All right, so now let's see, what else can we do to customize this and really make it our own? So I think I might create some bigger star icons here. And I'm going to change their color to green as well. And now I'm just going to do a quick adjust of everything and sort of play around with the layers a little bit before I am done with my project. If you want to select everything and move it all around or group it again, you can just hold down Shift and select, which is a pretty standard way to select objects. And then you can just move everything around. Now, remember we talked about bleed before? I want to make sure basically that my design is just centered on the artboard here on the background, and that it's definitely all the important parts are more towards the middle, so leaving a nice gap around the edge so that when we do put it into MOO, it's not going to cut off any of our design. So that looks pretty good to me. So I've got this really easily designed, beautiful little postcard that I can then print on lots of different paper stocks. So in order to get this ready to upload into MOO, we can just download it. Now there's a couple of different file formats available. So you can download it as a PDF, which is really good for printing, but you can also download it as a PNG file. I recommend PNG just personally if you are uploading your own fonts into Adobe Express, because it just reads the fonts a little bit better if you download as PNG, I find personally. But there are thousands and thousands of fonts available in the Adobe font library that you can make use of if you don't have a brand font. So we're going to download it as a PNG file, and you start the download and it just downloads it. Now I've already downloaded it onto my computer, so I don't need to do that again. Okay, so I just wanted to show you now, what do we do if we want to, we love this design and we want to just be able to easily recreate it again and again for different postcard designs, because there's something that's really cool in MOO. And if you're a MOO user, you would already know this. But when you upload or when you're getting postcards batches printed, you can actually choose up to 25 designs in the one order of postcards, which is so cool because it means you can add so many different kinds of postcard designs and have a whole bunch to choose from, so you can give your customers different ones every single time. I just love that. It's one of my favorite features. So what's a really easy way to recreate this design for the postcards in different ways? What we can do is we can create a template from our design. So once we've created this, whether it be from scratch or whether it be from an existing template, it's really easy to turn it into a new template. So we just click share on the right-hand side and make a template. And then you can just label it. I'm just going to label it postcard test. You can write information about it if you want, and you can save it to one of your Creative Cloud libraries. I've got one called packaging, so I'm just going to save it straight to that. Okay, so that's just saving my template in the background. And now if I want to go to my library again, let's see if I can find it. Where is it? We'll go there again. Let it load. Here we go. So here's postcard test, which you can see is right here. So whenever you want to reuse this to recreate something else, all you need to do is hit create from, and it just opens it up as a new file, and then you can start customizing it and turning it into something else, which is really cool and really easy. So there's the design again. Now I just want to show you some other designs that I made using this original design as a template. So I'll jump back into my library and I will give you a little bit of show and tell. So, okay, here's two other graphic postcards that I made using my original one that I just showed you how to make before. So I just want to show you, I'm going to jump into this one because I just want to show you the Adobe Express Design Assets Library, which is another one of my really favorite things about this platform. So as you can see, we have a similar kind of design. The sun is still in there, the stars are still in there, but I changed the text and the text color. And then I took out all the other graphic things and I added in these beautiful design assets. So on the left-hand side, there's this thing called the Design Asset Library. I really encourage you to spend some time browsing in here because there are thousands and thousands of pre-made beautiful design assets, things like brush strokes, things like frames, illustrations, textures, you name it. So I actually searched for flower again, because I wanted to keep it on that flower theme, but I wanted it to maybe be slightly different. And so as you can see, there's heaps and heaps of flower design assets that come up. And I think I found some all the way down at the bottom, which I'm not going to scroll through and find for you right now because there's so many, that were these beautiful abstract ones here. And I just clicked on them and it added it in. I also added my logo. So if you want to easily add one of your logos that you've pre-uploaded into the brand tool, you can click on this logo section here. All of your logo options come up. So let's just say I want to add, I don't know, this one, for example, a black version. If you click on it, it'll just add it in. And then you can just adjust, move it around, increase the size, decrease the size, whatever you want. So that's another example of a postcard design. And then I also did another one. Let's see, we'll go back. Whoops. All right, back into my packaging library. I also did this one, which is a more graphic one that doesn't really include any wording. And I used a mixture of design assets and shapes for this, just to create something really simple and beautiful with my colored logo on it that I can then use when I'm getting my postcards printed in MOO. Okay, so that's designing a postcard from scratch. So now hopefully you have an idea of how the design process can work using templates within Adobe Express. I just want to quickly show you something to do with stickers now, just in case you want to make some stickers of your own. There's just a couple of things to consider. So in here, we have all the sticker designs that I showed you at the very start of this session. So standard round stickers on MOO are 38 millimeters with a 2 millimeter bleed, as we saw in our little guide here that they gave to us. So if you want to create some stickers, all you need to do is create a custom sized artboard in Adobe Express that is 40 by 40 millimeters. And then we create our design well within that boundary. We save it as a PNG or a PDF as well. And then you've got all these different things ready for you to create stickers from. So it's very, very easy. You just have to make sure that everything sort of is towards the center so that it doesn't get cut off when they're cutting the round circular sticker. And then one final thing I want to show you here before we jump into MOO and load up our postcards ready to print. I have created a library that you can actually use. It's all handmade paper collaged assets that I created with Adobe Express, and feel free to use any of these in any of your projects. You are more than welcome. I would love to see you use them. So if you want to find that library, when you're in a project like this, on the left-hand side, all you need to do is go to libraries. And there's a drop-down menu here. So you've got your libraries, you've got libraries that have been shared with you by other people, and you've got public libraries. In the public library are a bunch of different things that Adobe Express ambassadors have created that you can remix and reuse. So mine's here, the cut and paste papercraft graphics library. If you click on it, you'll see under assets, all of these different papercraft collageable assets that I made and scanned in. I used these for the postcards that I showed you at the very start of this session that I got printed with MOO for this workshop. So if you want to pop any of these into your artwork, you can just click on it and it just pops it straight in, all cut out, ready for you to go. And you can resize, and then you can also adjust the way that your asset looks. So you can, under the enhancement section here in the edit image panel, you can make things brighter. You can make them more saturated, less saturated. You can bump up the shadow, reduce the shadow, warmth, sharpen it, put a whole bunch of different filters on it. Really do so much just with these simple editing tools. So if you want to use those, it's called the Cut and Paste Papercraft library, and you can access it via the library section when you're inside your artboard designing. So I hope that you find them fun, and if you do want to use them, please tag me on socials if you do, because I'd love to see what you make. Okay, so Now let's jump into MOO. So we're going to load up our postcard designs. I'm going to show you how easy it is to do, and I'm going to show you some of some little customizations that you can do within here to create the beautiful packaging for yourself. Okay, so the MOO dashboard is very, very intuitive. There's a lot to explore. I encourage you to just jump online, moo.com, and just have a look at all the different kinds of products that you can get created with your designs, and all the different resources and things like that that are on here. Today, I'm going to be in the postcard section because we just designed some postcards. So there's a few different kinds of postcards that you can create with MOO. So there's a standard postcard, which is, which I showed you at the start, A6 size. You've also got more, I guess, like there's a luxe kind, which is also one that I showed you at the start. That's the one that is made from this beautiful thick paper or cardstock. You can create a colored spine, so it's just something a little extra special, and you can get them in different sizes. There's also gold and silver foil. I think I saw someone talking about gold and silver foil in the chat before. This is like a way to enhance your packaging even more, is to add metallic foil. It's just absolutely stunning. So if that's something that you want to try and do, definitely experiment with that, because I think it will really just send your packaging to the next level. But today, for the purposes of this example, we are going to use luxe. So we click on luxe, and we can really just get started designing straight from the website. So we're going to choose small A6 because that's what we designed our postcards for in Adobe Express. And we get to choose what we want the seam color to be. I'm going to choose neon pink because pink's my favorite color. I think it'll look really stunning with the different colors of the designs that I created in Adobe Express. And for the purposes of this exercise, we are just going to choose 50. And if you scroll down to the bottom, there's a whole bunch of great design and artwork guidelines that you can use and reference. And also there's a link here to more artwork guidelines, but if you ever want to find the artwork guidelines, they're all the way down at the bottom in the footer under artwork guidelines. It has a whole bunch of information that you need to design successfully within MOO. So scrolling back up, there's a few different options here. You can use existing templates. You can design straight into the website online. But today I'm going to upload a full design since we've already designed them. So we press start making, and it opens us up into our little design dashboard here. So the first thing we're going to do is, I don't know if I showed you actually, but just jumping back, I also have this. It's a postcard. It's the other side of the postcard. So I want that to be standard across all my designs. So we're going to upload that, and then we're going to upload our 3 designs, because as I mentioned, is that you can add 25 different designs at no extra cost. So we designed 3, so we're going to upload them too. But we're going to start with uploading I call it a back, but I think it's actually in MOO, it's the front. So what we want to do first is change the orientation, because our postcards are in portrait. So we're going to change that. And once we've got it, we're just going to upload our design that we just downloaded onto our computer, ready to go. There it is. It's going to load in. And because we designed it with the exact right custom measurements, there's no need for us to adjust the way it looks. Like, it looks like it's all pretty good. The main important information is inside this safe area here. I guess if we wanted to, we could perhaps make it a little bit smaller, because I think I gave it extra room, but I think it's pretty good the way it was. So we're going to leave it. Oops. We're going to leave it as is. There we go. Okay. So there's that. All right. So now we're going to upload the multiples. Here they are. There's 2 there. Oh, they look so good. I think I'm going to have to oops, it's asking me to do something else there. There we go. I think I'm going to have to print these because I think they're so cool. So there's 2 of them. I'm going to upload another one as well. The 3rd one. Where is it? There it is. I was trying to do that really quickly so you didn't see how many files I have just floating around on my computer. Okay, so there's the third one. So once they're uploaded and we think we've got the placement right, I just go through to the review and purchase section, and there you can just double check everything looks okay. It's asking me to edit the positioning here, which is really helpful actually, because I don't think it was centered. So I just want to make sure it's centered. Good to go. Everything's good. And then all we have to do is add to cart and then complete our purchase when we're ready to go. But I could add like 22 more of these designs if I wanted to, which is really awesome. So that's how you would upload everything in. As you can see, it was essentially just one click because we'd already designed everything at the right size. So it was very, very easy. And as you saw from my show and tell at the start, they came out looking like absolutely gorgeous. So I'm just going to share one last screen with you now. Here we are. Okay, so here's a bunch of further resources. Now, I think we're going to also pop these in the chat box for you so that you have these to click directly onto the links. I've added a few more things here. Obviously, I saw that there were so many amazing resources that were shared in the chat throughout the talk, but I've included the link to the Adobe Express YouTube channel, which has a whole bunch of really great tutorial videos by myself, other ambassadors, and the Adobe Express team. It's a really great fun channel. So I encourage you to just explore that if you want to learn more. There's also the MOO blog, which I really love. It has a lot of inspiration and resources for small businesses like us, but also heaps more help and assistance and resources on how to use MOO to design. I've also included a link to my creative business or creative career newsletter. This goes out once a month, and it's especially for small business owners, small creative business owners, and those wanting to grow a thriving creative career. We talk about different topics relating to small creative businesses every single month, and it's really fun. It's a great community to be part of. So I encourage you to sign up for that if you'd like. Also, all of our social media tags, Adobe Express, MOO, and me, Kitiya Palaskas. And then my website and my email address if you have any follow-up questions or you want to ask anything about creative careers, about designing packaging, anything like that. After this session, feel free to just shoot me an email and I'll answer. So I just wanted to say a huge thank you. I'll just stop sharing my screen. I just wanted to say a huge thank you for being here tonight. I packed a lot of information into that 1 hour, so I really hope that you don't feel overwhelmed. If you need to catch up on anything, you can always watch the recording that we'll be posting out in a couple of days' time. I just really wanted to thank MOO and Adobe Express for having me. I am obsessed with packaging. I always notice it. It's the first thing I notice whenever I'm like out and about, and so I could talk about it and design it and play around with it forever. So I'm just so thrilled that I got to teach a workshop on it tonight. So I hope you found it useful, and I'm going to hand it back over to the Adobe Express team now to close us out. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thanks so much, Kit. This was really awesome. I also have a design background, but actually it was really nice to see all your input and also seeing how easy it is to design really assets in Adobe Express. I mean, you know, back then in the days when you had to do it with Illustrator or even Photoshop, I mean, now it's just like bam, 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 and it's there. It's really cool. Yeah, and I think also, yeah, MOO products are great. I always love when I get little things, little nice printed things. I'm really like a sucker for good products, and MOO I can totally recommend. The quality is amazing. As we already heard also in the chat, a couple of people already tried it out. Thanks the MOO team for support here on the chat. Thanks for hosting this with us together. I also dropped 2 more links in the chat for everybody who has more questions about Adobe Express and who wants to connect with ambassadors, who wants to connect with our team, who wants to connect with kids as well. We have a Facebook group. Link is in the chat. Come over and say hi. And also, as you heard, Kit is Adobe Express ambassador. You can actually sign up for the program too. I also shared the link with you. Just fill out the application. And if you're a super user, we would love to welcome you in our product, in our program. So yes, thanks so much. Thanks, Kit. It was really lovely to see you and to meet you and to hear you speak about this very important, I think, topic. And I think also not just for product design, I think also when you're a digital artist and having little gifts that you can send out to your customers or clients, always a good idea. And yeah, use MOO. The products are amazing. It's really easy to use, as you saw. Thanks so much, everybody. Watch the recording afterwards. Yeah, that's from my side. Helen, do you want to say final words as well?
Yeah, just big thank you to Kitiya. That was super exciting. I loved hearing about the customer experience and buyer cycle. I thought that was super interesting. And you made it seem really easy, the transition from Adobe Express into MOO for uploading and printing your final designs. So thank you for sharing that with us. I'm sure everyone else loved it.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Thanks, everyone.
Well,
have a great night/day.
Yeah, that's it, I think. Thanks so much. Have a lovely rest of the day and see you soon. Bye, everyone.